I heard there was a Sportsball game. Did who we hoped would win actually win? Hi, and welcome to Quilt Meets World, where we have adventures in piecing and joy. I'm Russ, coming into my sewing room. Okay, a couple weeks ago, I talked about the Chick-fil-A fries, how they changed the recipe and said I didn't notice a difference. Well, I had them again last night, and there is a little bit of a difference. It tastes just a little bit starchier, which makes sense because they're putting a starch coating on it to try to make them stay crispy longer. It's not a big deal. Um, I don't know if I'd call it, the worst thing ever, like folks on the internets have been doing, but it is different. The reason why I didn't notice it in the first place is because I use the little Chick-fil-A sauce. I get a container of Chick-fil-A sauce to dip my fries in for consumption because I don't eat ketchup and I like the Chick-fil-A sauce. So that's probably why I didn't notice it the first time is, if you use ketchup or one of the sauces as a dipper, you probably will never notice a difference. If you like your fries plain, then you probably will be the ones who notice a difference. Um, Normally, fries anywhere. Usually, I don't have anything unless they're bad fries. At which time, if you see me eating ketchup with fries, they are bad fries. Uh, Places like Chick Fil A, where they have in Zaxby's, they have the Zax sauce. If they have a sauce that I really like to dip my fries in, I will get that. It has nothing to do with the flavor of the fries. It's just, I like that sauce and I want to eat as much of that sauce as I can. So, yeah, Chick fil A did change their stuff. It is a little different. I don't think it's that big. Unless, again, you don't eat sauces with your fries, then maybe. So let's stop talking about food. What has been going on in here in my sewing room? Saturday for my 11Zs, I got to play catch up on the dragon fruit block of the month that I'm doing over on my friend Stephanie Stitch's channel with a handful of other folks. We have sewn up months 1 through 3 on her channel, but I hadn't officially completed any of the months. I am now proud to say I have completed month 3, which is this block. I think in the pictures it goes this way. And kind of funny because each quadrant is aimed a different direction, so it's not like it has to go a specific way. There's 4 of them, so I have all 4 of them made. I still haven't ripped the papers off because, well, I should have no issues doing that. But yeah, I've got all 4 of them. But I like to keep the papers on blocks until they're ready to go into like the bigger section. It just helps keep them a little stable. It forces me to keep them flat, which means less work when I have to put them together. I still haven't completed all of months 1 and 2 yet, but I will get there. The important thing is I am less behind than I was before. Just as we are about to start month 4, which will put me more behind again, but that's for future Russ. After my live, I went on to my friend Steven of the Addict Quilters pop-up sew day. He does those every now and then. They are a lot of fun, and I usually get a lot of work done on his sew days. This time, didn't quite get as much as I wanted done, But I did manage to get the last seams of my sister's graduation quilt done, so there is that. Sunday was a little bit more complicated. See, I think about the strangest things as I'm trying to go to bed. And Saturday night, as I was trying to fall asleep, it popped in my head that this diagram from the quilt pattern, it's on the back for how the backing is supposed to be laid out. I was like, that can't work. Like, just in my mind. The weird part is the seam that is over on the right. It just doesn't seem right. It's like that there's not enough. Like if there was enough room for a horizontal seam, which that's what it looks like, the entire seam on the backing would be horizontal. But no, there's not enough room vertically for that. So I was like, something isn't right. I had no idea what was going on. I texted a few friends and said, I don't know what's going on here. And what there was a question that came back. I don't even remember which the question was, but I was like, okay, let me think and do math because I think I have it figured out. So it is right. The image is right. It's just the way that you have to cut everything is not intuitive, and they don't have instructions in the pattern on how to cut this. Essentially, what you have to do is you have to take whatever your length of fabric is for the backing. In this case, I think it said that we needed 7 1/3 yards. And you have to divide that number by 5. It's a weird number, but there's a reason. Whatever number you get when you divide by 5, that is the amount that you have to chop off the end of your fabric. I don't remember what 7 1/3 is divided by 5, so don't ask me that number. So you will then have one weird sized piece of number and then one really, really long piece of fabric. You take that really, really long piece of fabric and you sew it end to end like you normally would do when you make your backing if you have to do a two-piece backing. So whatever your favorite method of doing that is, you do that. My method is I take both ends, bring them together, and just sew along one of the edges until I get to where everything meets, kind of like a jelly roll race. And then I will just cut that fold off. That's usually the easiest thing for me. That's how I do my normal backing pieces. Once you get that piece done, then you start looking at your smaller piece, and this is where, like I said, I was really confused. You're not doing a similar seam to that. What you do is you have to cut along the fold in your fabric, and when you cut that fold, you match those basically short end to short end, and that's what gives you the full length of your side there. So that gives you whatever should be the same length as your pair, and it works. Like I said, I didn't know any about this. It may be common knowledge for some of y'all. For those of you, it is great. For those of you who have no idea what I was talking about, um, I don't know if I'll actually end up doing a tutorial on it because, uh, yeah, I've just decided in the future if it's a single seam batting, I can or backing, I can do that. That's something I'm accustomed to. But if it's this complicated of a backing like this, if it's more than the one seam, basically. So if it's a like a king size, they tell you you need three strips that are 3 yards, so 9 yards of fabric. I am not going to do that ever in the future. I will live with the fact of I'm going to go buy a 108 because that is a lot simpler when it comes to larger quilts. Like I said, smaller sizes, I will do the single seam. bigger sizes, it's going to be a 108 in the future. For some amusing work musings, uh, I got a quick little funny story. We need to build a new application for data checking, and that seems to have fallen on me. And yeah, we were having a conversation yesterday thinking, I wonder if we can name it something fun this time. When I built the initial checking application, which is completely not compatible with the new databases, my boss wanted to name it DISC, which is short for Data Integrity and System Check. The problem that I had, and I think one of my coworkers had, was just that hard C at the very end, making DISC seem very difficult. I know we do have things like disk drives and stuff like that, but when you're having conversations, just say disk really quickly. People don't know always hear it, so it's like disk. Lots of stuff. Back then, I tried to give fun names, mostly, that's how I am. But it was also trying to wear her down for something that would actually be good that wasn't with that hard C at the end. The only one of the silly names that I can remember coming up with was Data Integrity and Validation Check, or DIVA. She obviously didn't like that because, there can only be one diva at work. For that old application, we ended up on the name OIC, for Online Integration Check. The main reason why I liked OIC is it had a bit of a double name. It's partly the acronym, but you could also say, oh, I see, when the checks come back. So now we're kind of debating on a new name for the new app, if we can kind of do that. As always, I'm always kind of partial to Diva again, but that ain't going to happen because, like I said, only one Diva. Coworker of mine sent me a message in that meeting suggesting global application sign-off, since it's also going to potentially be used as a sign-off tool between the databases. I let out a big chuckle during the meeting and was like, I don't know if they're going to let us call it gas. What do I have coming up this week? It's going to be a fun weekend. This week is Saturday Sampler at my local quilt shop. I don't have any show and tell again because I was focused on finishing the other quilt tops, but I do have my Saturday Sampler blocks done, so I'm not going to be penalized for that. I had hoped to get Winter's Night on the long arm, but that didn't quite happen. And I don't know if I want to bring it for show and tell since winter is essentially over, and by next month it'll be very springy. So maybe that'll be something that I will tuck away until like the end of the year. For my 11Zs on this Saturday, I think I'm going to work on the last Saturday sampler block in the series. Like I said, that's through my local quilt shop. You guys can't join in directly, but I am posting every month a similar block that you can make if you're trying to make your own sampler quilt and you want to sew with me. They posted a photo of the block online, and I was going through my stash of extra fabrics that they have given us, and I have everything available to cut except for one fabric. So Friday afternoon, I can cut everything, and then Saturday morning after Saturday sampler, when I get the new fabrics, I should only have one fabric to cut, and I will be ready for my live. After the live, I am going to need to go run a couple errands so I can be back here for 5 p.m. on Saturday and join some of my friends over on Stephanie's Stitches channel for month 4 of Dragon Fruit. I just finally finished month 3, and month 4 is now on the way, which means I am going to be far behind again. It's always fun to sew with everybody, so that's what we're doing, and it helps keep me on track. And then finally, if you are on my mailing list, you saw that there is going to be another installment of Sewing Shenanigans this Sunday. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. And Sewing Shenanigans is just a private Zoom. It's not broadcast on YouTube or anywhere else, that I host occasionally where folks can come join in and sew together. It's just a nice, fun place. There's zero judgment. There's lots of encouragement, and occasionally enabling you to buy stuff. And, it's just, somebody shows, ooh, I got this cool little tool. And people are like, I want one of those too. The official start time is going to be 8:30 on Sunday. That's Eastern time zone. And we will sew until about 3:30 in the afternoon Eastern time. You are welcome to come and go as you please, because I know 8:30 a.m. is very early for some people. It's also, some people have been like, I've been up for like 4 hours by now. So it's whenever you want to come in. If you have to leave, if you have to go get lunch, you can either, leave your camera running and stuff, or you can log off, log back on later. It doesn't matter. It's just as you please. If you are on the mailing list, you have received an email with a link. You'll probably get a reminder email sometime Saturday as well. If you are not on my mailing list, I have also included the link in the description below this video, and it will also be in my live description on Saturday. So you can use that link to join directly. And if you want the inside information on when Sewing Shenanigans Sew Days will be happening ahead of time, you could always send me an email and I can get you added to the mailing list. So yeah, it'll be great to see many of you on Sunday if you're able to make it. Anywho, I think that is going to be about it for today. I hope you were entertained just a bit with my weekly shenanigans. If you wouldn't mind doing the things that make the YouTube algorithm happy, that would be awesome. They are things such as liking the video, commenting below, or even cleaning out the lint in your sewing machine. That's right, this is your very irregular reminder that it might be a good idea to do that. Subscribing to my channel is free and a wonderful way of letting YouTube know you like my shenanigans. If you ring the bell next to the subscribe button, you will get notified when I go live on Saturday mornings and upload other videos. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and an awesome week. Until next time, stay happy and remember, always measure your life in love.